Alright, YouTube, just one old Army guy here. This is a video I've been thinking about doing for a little bit and haven't really got around to it, and I'm well overdue for putting a video out. So today I'm going to do it. This is going to be the Shit Hits the Fan Library. And I know a lot of people, we've downloaded a lot of stuff on our computers and we've keep it, but I'm a guy that I like to have stuff in print as well. So if I've got something on my computer, I've also got a hard copy. You know, I'm not a super religious guy, I'm not going to lie, but I do have the Bible, I do read it, I do go to church. I need to work on being a little more religious, at least my wife's size anyways, but that's something that personal growth we all work on. So, got the Bible down and out of the way. It's a great book. It's filled with some great stories in there, and I just enjoy reading with my kids sometimes, and we'll sit down and go through it. But you know, I know a lot of this is going to be kind of reiterated and regurgitated from what other people have seen or people have put out on YouTube. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about Sun Tzu, though, The Art of War. Now, this is only one version of it. There's many versions out there. I do have another version. It's just a good military-type tactic book explaining different things. Very deep. Not going to lie, parts of it will put you to sleep. It is that kind of book. Ninjutsu, The Art of Invisible Warrior. This is one I picked up as a teenager just to keep myself in good condition. It's not just about the martial arts, but it's also about the conditioning of your body. And I'm flipping through this rather quick, I realize that, but if people have any questions about any of these books that I'm going to show today, you can PM me, and I'll reply the best I can on it. Matt Fury's books I picked up when I was going overseas to Iraq, so I could stay in condition over there and not have to worry about going to a big military gym. Something I could do in my little hooch area. So I picked those up. The rest of these books, you can see that, those are all military field manuals. Alright. And I've got Platoon, Scout, and Sniper Team, M16A1, A2 Rifle Marksmanship, Mountain Operations, Fixed Site Protection, Waterborne Operations, Special Forces, Long Range Surveillance Unit Operations, Repelling, and then the Soldier's Manual and Trainer's Guide for the 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie, Hotel, and Mike for the infantry, levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is like the infantry Bible. Contains everything in there that you're ever going to need to know to proceed through the ranks as an infantryman. But those are just some of the military manuals that I have. Alright, let's roll over here to what I call the survival category. Of course, right there on the top is the U.S. Army's Survival FM 2021-76. James Wesley Rawls, the How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It. Now, I know everybody out there who's a prepper has probably read this book, so I'm not going to say anything on it. 1 second after, a book that I just picked up. I'm reading it about a quarter of the way through it. Great book, enjoying every word so far. Patriots, another one I'm sure that pretty much everybody has read. Nice novel, but throughout the book he has just put little things of almost like a guide to things that you could do. So between his two books here, you have a pretty good roadmap on doing a compound or have a retreat, whatever you want to do. Of course, then Cody Lundine's books on survival. Both of them are good books. If you had to get one out of the two, I'd say get When All Hell Breaks Loose. It's a little thicker book, as you can see, and basically what's in this book is also in this book. So even though he words it a little differently in 98.6 degrees, the information is still the same that's in there. But they're both really good books. This is one I picked up in Sam's a few weeks back, and I got it primarily for my kids because it's a survival handbook, and it's full color illustration. going on. Here's a little on fires and types of fires, how to light your fire. Real basic, using a bow drill, bamboo fire saw, tying knots, but it's nice because it's full color pages. So it's real easy for the kids to get into. What I found out later on is this book's put out by the Boy Scouts of America. It was on that very last page. So another good one if you have kids. Something else I'm just kind of getting into, I'll get these out of the way here, is the herbal side of things. I picked this up in Walgreens a couple weeks ago. Now obviously it's not a reading book, it's a reference book, but it's a pretty good book. I think the only shortfall is it doesn't have all the usages and dosages in there that you could use for some things. Like it might list 10 things you can use an herb for, but it doesn't explain all of them. So it's not kind of a shortfall. Then I picked this one up, the Essential Guide to Herbs for Living. I just thought it was another little informative book. Kind of has, there again, color pictures. For those of us that don't really know what some of these things are, you know, when it comes to herbs, I mean, I know the basics, but there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't know, and I don't know what it's used for, and how it could help me, or my family. Technical side. This is where you get into the amateur radio and licensing. Now I've got the ARRL ham radio license manual. I'm currently studying on that. I know Minbound and I have both been talking about going down and taking the test here in the next few weeks. So he's studying, he's got his book, I got my book, and we're going to knock it out. This is an old book. I don't even know when I remember when I picked this up, but it was, I was walking through Radio Shack and they had a bunch of ham associated books on sale, and excuse me, I picked up a couple of them. This is one of them. It's all about antennas. This is all about basic communications and electronics and how to read schematics and all the basics we need to know about electronics. But with that, I also have more of the military manuals that also deal in electronics, communication fundamentals, high-frequency radio communications, the Singar's Ground Combat Net Radio by ICOM, and then a generator diesel engine technical manual. So I don't have the generator, but I have the manual, so when I do get my generator that I'm looking for, I will have the means to repair it. Topographical symbols and map reading and land navigation. Funny story with my wife. She had one of her new hires, sales rep, out there, and they were driving around, and he was late getting to where they were supposed to meet, and his excuse was his GPS couldn't locate the place, and he doesn't know how to read a map. And my wife went off. She just thought that was the most ridiculous thing, that here was this guy who was in his 30s, didn't know how to read a map, even a basic road map. So I've taken great lengths to know that my kids, my children, are going to know how to read a map with topographic symbols and know their way around the land navigation. So I just can't say enough about the basics of using a compass and knowing how to get to where you need to go without having to depend on modern technology today. Another little book I picked up at Ace Hardware, and it's the Pocket Reference Guide. And this book here, I mean, it covers, right there, it's got military rank, North American area codes. I mean, if you can think of it, it's in here. You know, plain figure formulas. I mean, there's stuff in here, you know, rope, cable, and chain, knot tying. I mean, just, it's in here. There's all kinds of little things. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. You buy this book, you're going to want a magnifying glass, because that print is small. There's a lot of information crammed into that little book. But a great little book. I've used it a couple times just to figure out conversions on things. And of course, then there's the series that I picked up a few weeks ago, and I touched briefly on it from Sam's. They had them in there. The Country Wisdom and Survival Wisdom and Know-How, these 3 books. I've not read them. I've gone through them. They're great reference books. Just keeping them out and on my bookshelf so that, you know, especially when some of the gardening stuff. My mother asked me, she goes, well, how do you prune this? I was like, Mom, I don't know. Answer was right in here. I found it when she was looking for, so told her that. Now, something else that I have found, and it's not everywhere, they're not common. I've looked around different places. But the Mother Earth News Food and Garden series, magazines, it's just good information on gardening and some of the basic stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they are a little bit on the left liberal side. Not that that's a bad thing. I've got some friends that are very liberal, but it's just the information is more not for their political views. So I just take the political views and flush it and go for the content of that, of what I'm after, and that's, you know, obviously how to grow and preserve your own food. And another one is Urban Farm, another great magazine. I've actually got about 5 or 6 different editions of that one around here. Another Mother Earth News. This is another one I picked up. It's called The New Pioneer: The Complete Guide to Self-Reliant Living. I've only seen 2 of these out, and every time I see it, I buy it. But it's got all kinds of information in here on, you know, here's one on solar cooking, the sunray cooking, solar water heating, living the American dream, being homestead, avoiding frost damage. I mean, just every little thing you can need to know. It's a good little magazine. I think it's, oh, well, this looks like it says it was $9, but yeah. More stuff on herbs, and then just more books or magazines on gardening. You know, whenever I find something that I think is interesting in that sense, I'll pick up. You know, especially when it comes to gardening and homesteading. Is anything, you know, homesteading / prepping is a key these days. Another one I picked up was the Energy Efficient Homes in 2011, and I picked this more up just because it had a lot of information on solar and geothermal, and I was looking at that, and even though I don't realize geothermal is like super expensive, I do know a friend of mine back in Ohio, they have it on their house, and he's got a rather large house, but his electric bill is only about $115 a month. And that's the season for everything's down. When he built the house, he did it right, and he paid a little more up front for it. But his bills are pretty low, especially when it comes to, you know, I know our gas and electric bill here last winter was pushing $500 a month, just, you know, running the furnace, keeping that up. But anyways, so that's just a little brief look at my Shit at the Fan library. I've got a ton more books. I've got a lot of stuff that's on my computer that I need to go over to Kinko's and get printed off and put into binders, so I've got it as a hard copy, just in case that something would happen that we don't have access to electricity and I can't get onto my computer. But you know, it's important that we've got reference manuals and reference books and things to look out and share and just to utilize. You know, it's important that we keep these books. I know my wife's like, why do you have so many of your military manuals? Why do you keep them? You're out now. Keep them. Why do you need to keep them? Just throw them away. Recycle them. And I keep telling her I'm not going to do that. The information in those books is just too invaluable. And I know other people out there that are vets that are the same way. They've just got, you know, stacks and stacks and stacks of field manuals and TMs, FMs, everything you can think of. You know, I don't think I've ever thrown one away. I've got stuff back all the way back to basic training. So that's just a little insight into that. All right. If you have any questions about any of the military manuals or the books, like I said, please feel free to PM me, message me. I'll get back to you and let you know the best I know about what the question you're asking and try to answer that for you. No, I cannot get you field manuals or TMs. I cannot do that anymore. I've lost that connection. Well, I've really lost the connection, but I don't have access to that anymore. So please don't ask me if I can do that, because I can't. So anyways, that's all I have to say. One Old Army Guy, out.